Welcome back to the deep dive. We're doing something a little different today. Usually, we're looking at modern tech or recent history or maybe a business biography.
Right.
But today we are going all the way back. I mean, we're looking at what you could call the source code of Western storytelling.
It really is the bedrock, isn't it? We're talking about the foundational myths of ancient Greece.
And I'll be honest, when I first looked at the stack of research for this, I thought I knew this stuff,
The high school version.
Exactly. I thought, okay, Zeus, Heracles, lightning bolts, white marble statues, it's the English class version. But the material you've pulled together, it paints a very, very different. This is not the Disney version.
No, it certainly isn't. And that marble statue view is very sanitized. It feels almost Victorian. But when you go back to the original texts, to Hesiod, to the Homeric hymns, the vibe is just so much more visceral.
Visceral is a good word. It's darker, it's stranger, and frankly, it is a lot more psychologically complex.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the thing that really stood out to me reading through this. We often dismiss mythology as just fantasy stories ancient people told because they were bored.
Right.
But the argument the source material makes is that stories were actually a form of ancient rationalization.
Exactly that. You have to put yourself in their sandals for them. Just imagine.
Yeah.
You live in a world that is terrifyingly unpredictable.
Completely.
The earth shakes without any warning. The seasons change, but you don't know why. A disease sweeps through your village and wipes out half the population. You have no germ theory, no plate tectonics, no meteorology.
I just have questions and fear.
And you need a framework to explain why these things are happening. You need a story.
So the myths aren't just entertainment. They're an attempt to impose some kind of order on all that chaos.
Precisely. But they also serve this second function, which I think is even more fascinating. They rationalize the human condition itself.
What do you mean by that?
They explain us to ourselves. Why are we greedy? Why do we get jealous? Why does power corrupt people? As we go through these stories today, you're going to see this recurring theme that feels incredibly modern: generational trauma.
I noticed that it's everywhere. It's almost like a cosmic case study in dysfunctional families.
It is.
You have fathers who are terrified of their sons overthrowing their fathers, and this desperate, really violent cycle of trying to maintain control.
Daddy issues on a cosmic scale is how I usually describe it. It's the perfect term.
So before we dive into the specific stories, though, we do need to set a few ground rules. The source material had a pretty big disclaimer right at the front, and it was about time.
Yes, this is important. If you're a listener who needs everything to follow a strict linear chronological logic, A leads to B leads to C, you're going to be frustrated.
It's not going to work that way.
Not at all. Mythology is messy. You have to remember, it's an oral tradition that evolved over centuries. Different cities were worshiping different versions of the same gods. Stories got tangled.
So we might see a character pop up in a story that technically takes place before they were.
It happens constantly.
Yeah.
Heracles is the worst offender for this.
Yeah.
He just shows up everywhere. He'll be in battles that happened at the dawn of time, even though he's supposed to be a much later hero. We just have to accept that the top line is more of a vibe.
A vibe. Okay, I can work with that. So let's go back to the absolute beginning. I mean, before the Earth. What is there?
There's chaos.
Now, when we say chaos today, we usually mean a mess or, confusion. My desk is chaos. But in the Greek context, what are we actually looking at?
It's a much more fundamental concept. The Greek word chaos implies a gap, a yawning, formless abyss.
So it isn't just a pile of laundry on the floor.
Not at all. It is the absolute absence of existence.
Yeah.
It's a void where the laws of physics, time, and space, they just haven't been written yet. It's the pure nothingness that precedes the sun.
And then out of this void, we get the first real Gaia.
Gaia, the earth. And this part is crucial. She isn't born from parents. She just emerges. She is the first solid ground in the entire universe. She is the principle of stability itself.
So she sort of self-actualizes.
In a way, yes. And when she exists, she forms the mountains, the valleys, the deep trenches of the sea.
And she doesn't stay alone for long, I take it?
No. She creates, and because there are no other partners around, she creates through parthenogenesis, virgin birth, essentially.
Who does she create first?
First, she creates Pontus, the primordial sea. And then she creates her equal, her other half, Uranus, the starry sky.
I find this image so striking. She literally creates the sky to cover her.
To cover her on all sides, the texts say. It's this idea of a total, complete embrace, earth and sky, locked together. And it's from this union that we get the first generation of true, distinct beings.
The Titans.
The Titans.
These are names that people might recognize, but they aren't the Olympian gods yet, like Zeus.
No, the Titans are the generation before them. And you can think of them as these sort of elemental forces.
What?
You have Oceanus, who is the great river that encircles the entire world. You have Hyperion, who is associated with light. Mnemosyne, who is literally memory.
Okay.
And then there's the youngest, the most ambitious, and as it turns out, the most dangerous, Cronus.
Which is often associated with time, right?
Yes, though that's a bit of a later association, it's a useful one. And this is where the trouble begins. You have Gaia, the mother, and Uranus, the father. Uranus, well, he is not a good father.
That is putting it mildly. The source describes him as being cruel and just hating his children. Why? Was he afraid of them?
It seems to be a mix of fear and sheer revulsion. He looked at these children, and remember, it wasn't just the 12 titans. There were other more monstrous beings too, and he felt threatened.
He didn't want to share his power.
He didn't want to share the universe. He's the sky. He wanted to be the only thing that mattered. His ego couldn't handle it.
So he comes up with a solution for getting rid of him. And it's physically horrific when you actually stop and think about it.
It is. It's one of the most disturbing images in all of mythology. He doesn't just kill them. He shoves them back into the womb.
Back into Gaia.
He traps them inside the caverns of the earth, which is literally inside Gaia's body.
I can't even imagine the personification of that. Gaia is the earth, and she is physically distended and in constant agony because her husband is forcing their fully formed children back inside her.
It's torture, both physical and psychological. She's groaning under the strain, and eventually Gaia just can't take it anymore. She loves her children, and she wants them to see the light, so she decides to conspire against her husband.
But she can't do it alone. She needs a weapon.
She creates one. She reaches into herself into the earth and pulls out a new material, adamant.
Adamant. What is that? Is that like diamond or something?
In mythology, it's a gray, flint-like metal that is harder than anything else in existence.
Yeah.
It is completely unbreakable.
Okay, so a mythical super metal.
Exactly. She fashions a massive sickle harvesting tool, which is symbolic in itself, out of this adamant. And she goes to her children, who are trapped inside her in the dark, and she whispers to them. She lays out the plan. She asks, "Who will help me punish your father?"
And what's the response?
Silent. Total silence. They are terrified. I mean, Uranus is the entire sky. He's omnipotent. Who would dare challenge him?
Except one.
Except for Cronus.
The youngest.
The youngest and the most cunning.
Yeah.
The one with the most to gain.
Yeah.
Cronus volunteers. He says, "I will do it."
So they set the trap.
They do. Night falls. Uranus descends to lie with Gaia, covering the earth as he always does. And just as he is settling in, Cronus, who's been hiding, he bursts out. He grabs his father with his left hand, and with his right hand, he swings that adamant sickle.
And he castrates him.
He severs the genitals in the sky. It is this brutal, violent act of separation.
And that's not just a family squabble. It has a cosmological meaning.
A huge. This is the moment earth and sky are permanently separated. It creates the space between them, the atmosphere, the world where we can eventually live. But in the story, it's just a bloody, shocking coup.
And the blood that falls. This is where we get into that mythological DNA idea. The blood hits the ground and things grow.
Yes, the drops of blood that hit the earth, they spawn the Furies, the Erinyes.
Who are they?
They're these terrifying winged goddesses whose entire purpose is to punish crimes against the family. Parricide, matricide, they hunt you down.
Which is incredibly ironic considering they are literally born from a crime against a father.
Greek mythology absolutely loves irony. Along with the Furies, the giants are also born from this blood beings of immense strength who will be important later.
But there's another part of the biological material that doesn't hit the ground.
No, it falls into the sea.
And this creates one of the most famous images in all of art.
The severed flesh churns in the waves, creating this white sea foam, and from that foam rises a fully grown goddess, Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty, love, and desire.
That is just such a wild juxtaposition. You have the Furies, these spirits of vengeance and family guilt, and Aphrodite, the spirit of love and beauty born from the exact same act of horrific violence.
It suggests something so profound about the Greek worldview, doesn't it? They understood that passion, love, violence, revenge, they're often inextricably linked. They all come from the same primal, chaotic energy.
So Uranus is defeated. He retreats upwards, never to bother Gaia again. But before he goes, he issues a curse.
He does. He looks down at his son, Cronus, the victor, and says, "You have struck down your father. One day, your own children will strike you down. It's inevitable."
And that just hangs in the air. It sets the stage for the next entire era, the reign of Cronus.
This period is often called the Golden Age. The Titans rule the cosmos. Cronus is the king. He frees his siblings from their prison inside Gaia. He marries his sister, Rhea. And for a while, everything seems perfect.
But that curse is always there, isn't it? Lingering in the back of his mind.
It's eating him alive. The paranoia sets in. He looks at Rhea, he looks at his kingdom, and all he can think is, it's only a matter of time. Which one will it be?
So when Rhea starts having children,
Cronus decides he will not make the same mistake Uranus did. Uranus just crapped them. That wasn't good enough. Cronus decides to eliminate the problem entirely.
he swallows them.
He eats his own kids. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon. As soon as each one is born, he snatches them from Rhea and just swallows them whole.
Again, we have to clarify the sort of weird divine biology here. They don't die. They're not digested.
No, they're gods. They are immortal. They are simply trapped in his stomach. Imagine the horror of that. They are alive, fully conscious, growing up in the utter darkness of their father's gut.
It's a prison of flesh.
It is a living tomb.
Rhea must be devastated. I mean, 5 times this happens. 5 times she gives birth, and 5 times her husband eats the baby right in front of her.
She is absolutely desperate. When she becomes pregnant with her 6th child, Zeus, she can't bear it. She goes to her mother, Gaia, for help.
And the cycle repeats itself.
It's the same pattern, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gaia helped Cronus overthrow Uranus. Now she's going to help Rhea overthrow Cronus. The grandmother steps in.
So they hatch a plan. Gaia tells Rhea to go to the island of Crete, to a cave on Mount Ida, to give birth in...
She does. She hides the baby Zeus in this deep cave. But you have to go back to Cronus. She can't just return empty-handed. He's expecting a child.
So she creates a decoy, the original bait and switch?
A brilliant one. She takes a large stone, a boulder, really, and swaddles it in baby.
Yeah.
She walks up to Cronus, probably trembling, trying to sell this act, and she hands it to him.
And he doesn't even check. He doesn't look.
He's so consumed by his paranoia, so pathologically eager to destroy the threat, that he doesn't even look at the face. He just opens his mouth and swallows the rock whole.
Wow.
He thinks he's safe. He thinks the prophecy is finally dealt.
Meanwhile, the real Zeus is having a very different upbringing.
Yeah. While his brothers and sisters are, well, sitting undigested in Cronus' stomach, Zeus is living this idyllic pastoral life on Crete.
Who reasons?
He's raised by nymph. He's fed honey from mountain bee. He drinks milk from a divine goat named Amalthea.
But there's a detail here I loved from the notes. Babies cry. And Cronus is the king of the universe. He probably has pretty good hearing. How did they hide a crying baby god from him?
This is a fantastic image. Rhea places a band of warriors, the Kurit, as guards outside the cave.
Okay.
And they're instructed that whenever the baby starts to cry, they have to start dancing a war dance and clashing their spears against their shield as loudly as possible.
So they are literally drowning out the sound of a crying infant with the sounds of war.
It's heavy metal parenting, absolutely. But it worked. Zeus grows up in secret. He becomes strong, intelligent, and eventually he learns the truth about who he is and what happened to his family.
And he decides it's time for a rescue mission. Time to liberate.
He does. But he knows he can't just fight Cronus head on. He needs a plan. He enlists the help of Metis, an ocean nymph whose name literally means wisdom or cunning.
She's the brains of the operation.
Exactly. She tells him that brute force won't work to get the siblings out. They need chemistry.
They poison Cronus.
Not a lethal poison, an emetic, something to make him vomit. They mix mustard and wine into a potion. Zeus then disguises himself as a cupbearer at the Titan court and hands the goblet to his father.
And Cronus just drinks it, and the effect is immediate.
Oh yeah, violent convulsion. And then he starts to purge. He starts to vomit.
And what comes out first?
First, out comes the stone, the one he swallowed instead of Zeus. The text says it landed at the site of Delphi, where it became a sacred object for centuries.
And then,
in reverse order of how they went in, out come the children. Poseidon, Hades, Hera, Demeter, and Hestia.
And because they are gods and because time is weird for them, they don't come out as babies.
They come out as adult, full-grown, powerful, and very, very angry.
Great.
They've been waiting for this for a long time.
The band is back together.
And this is the event that kicks off the Titanomic, the Great War of the Titan.
And this isn't a weekend skirmish. The sources say this went on for 10 years.
A full decade of cosmic war.
Let's set the scene. Who is fighting where?
On one side, you have Cronus and the older Titans entrenched on their mountain fortress, Mount Othrys. They have the brute strength of the old world.
And the other side?
On the other side, on the higher peak of Mount Olympus, you have Zeus and his sibling, the New Order, the Olympians.
But for 10 years, the war is basically a stalemate. The Titans are just too tough.
They're incredibly powerful. They're evenly matched. And Zeus realizes that, just like his father and his grandfather, he can't win this alone. He needs allies.
So he starts looking for help?
And he remembers that Cronus made a mistake, a big one. Cronus didn't just imprison his own kids. He had left other relatives locked up down in Tartarus.
The uncles that nobody talks about at family gatherings.
Exactly. Specifically, the Cyclops and the Hecatonchire.
We all know the Cyclops one-eye, giant, but the Hecatonchire. You have to describe these things because the word giants doesn't even begin to do it justice.
No, it doesn't. The name literally means the 100-handed ones.
100 hands.
Imagine a being with 50 heads, all looking in different directions, and 100 arms, all sprouting from a massive torso. They are living whirlwinds of limb. They are biological artillery.
That's a terrifying image.
So Zeus goes down to Tartarus, and he breaks them out. He frees them.
And they are grateful.
Extremely. The Cyclops, who are master smiths, immediately show their gratitude by forging incredible weapons. This is the moment the Alconic Year of the Gods is created.
What do they make?
They forged the thunderbolts for Zeus, the ultimate weapon of distance and destruction. They make the trident for Poseidon, which can shake the earth and stir the seas. And for Hades, they craft the helm of darkness, or the cap of invisibility. It grants perfect god-level invisibility.
This changes the game completely.
It absolutely turns the tide. Suddenly the war is different. You have Zeus raining lightning from the sky. You have Poseidon creating earthquakes that shake the very foundations of Mount Othrys.
And Hades is just sneaking around.
Exactly, infiltrating their lines completely unseen, causing chaos. And the hecatontures.
What are they doing?
The texts say they were standing at the front lines, ripping up entire cliff sides and hurling 300 boulders at a time against the Titans.
300.
It's just an apocalyptic level of warfare. The landscape was shattered, and eventually, after 10 years, the Titans finally break.
And the punishment.
It is. Zeus doesn't take any chance. They are bound in unbreakable chains and thrown down into Tartarus, the deepest pit of the underworld.
And who guards?
In a beautiful piece of irony, the hecatontures, their former cellmates, become their eternal jails.
Except for one Titan. Atlas gets...
Yes. Atlas was the general of the Titan army, one of their greatest warriors. So Zeus singles him out for a special punishment. He isn't sent to the dark. He is sent to the far western edge of the world.
And forced to do what?
He is forced to hold up the sky on his shoulders for all eternity.
So he is literally keeping Uranus off Gaia. He is maintaining the separation that his great-uncle Cronus created.
He becomes a pillar of the cosmos, a prisoner of his own strength.
So Zeus has won. The Olympians have won. He divides up the universe with his brothers.
They draw lots. Again, chance and destiny play a huge role. Zeus gets the sky and the kingship of the gods. Poseidon gets the sea. And Hades draws the short straw. He gets the underworld.
And the earth.
The earth is declared common ground for all of them to meddle in.
But this brings us to the big question. The cycle has been son overthrows father twice now. Uranus to Cronus, Cronus to Zeus. How does Zeus stop it from happening?
He tries to break the cycle through a combination of sheer dominance, political maneuvering, and swallowing his first wife, Metis, when he hears a prophecy about her son.
So he sort of absorbs her wisdom and prevents...
Exact. But even Zeus, even the king of the gods, isn't the most powerful thing in the universe. There's something else above him.
This brings us to the concept that I found the most chilling in all the fate.
The Moira. Even the gods are afraid of them.
Who are they? Or what are they?
They are three sisters, Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. They're often depicted as these ancient, stern, old women working with wool, but they represent the fundamental, unchangeable laws of existence.
They're not really gods you can preach.
Not at all. They have no temples. They accept no sacrifices. They are a process, a cosmic fact.
And they have a very specific production line, right? It's all about thread.
It's the perfect metaphor for life. It begins with Clotho. Her name means the spinner.
Yeah.
She holds the distaff and the spindle. The moment a being is conceived, God, mortal, animal, it doesn't matter, she begins to spin their thread of life from the raw wool of potential.
And the source material mentions that the quality of the thread itself matters.
Yes, very much so. She determines the raw material. Is the thread golden and silky and thick? Well, that's a king's life, a life of glory.
And if it's not?
Is it rough, dark, and gray? That's a life of toil and hardship. Is it thin and fraying from the start? That's a sickly life destined to be short.
So the basic quality of your life is determined at the very start.
It is. Then the thread passes from Clotho to the second sister, Lachesis.
And her job.
Her name means the allotter. She measures it. She takes out her measuring rod and decides exactly how long that thread will be. A year, 80 years. She determines the lifespan.
But she does more than just measure.
She also weaves in the events. She's the one who weaves your destiny into the thread itself. The good luck, the bad luck, the triumphs, the tragedy. Will you marry? Will you go to war? Will you be rich or poor? Lachesis decides.
And then the thread reaches the third sister,
Atropos. Her name means the unturnable.
Yeah.
She who cannot be persuaded or argued with. She's the oldest, the most terrible, and she holds a pair of shears.
And when the thread reaches the measured point, that's it.
That's death. Instant. Irreversible. And the truly terrifying thing to the Greek mind is that Zeus cannot stop her.
He can't.
He can't. There are these powerful moments in the Iliad where Zeus is watching the Trojan War from Olympus and he sees his own mortal son, Sarpedon, about to be killed, and he weeps. He wants to swoop down and save him.
But he doesn't.
Hera, his wife, warns him. She says, if you break the rules of fate, you break the entire universe. All the other gods will start saving their children and cosmic order will collapse.
So he has to sit there and watch his own son die because Atropos has decided to cut the thread.
He has to. He is king of the gods, but he is a subject of the fates.
There are some wild stories about people trying to cheat this, though. The story of Meleager really stuck with me.
That is a tragedy in the truest Greek sense of the word. A self-inflicted wound.
What?
When the hero Meleager was just a baby, the three fates appeared in his room. His mother, Althea, saw them. They pointed to a log that was burning in the fireplace and said, your son will live exactly as long as that log remains unburned.
Wow. Talk about a specific vulnerability. An Achilles heel made of wood.
His mother panicked. As soon as they vanished, she grabbed the log out of the fire, doused it with water, and hid it deep inside a locked chest. She guarded it with her life.
So Meleager grew up to be a great hero, basically invincible, because his life was hidden away in a box.
For years, yes. But, as always in these stories, family drama intervenes.
Of course it does.
Meleager gets into a furious dispute with his uncles, his mother's own brothers, over the spoils of a heroic hunt.
Yeah.
In a rage, he kills them.
Oh, no.
So his mother, Althea, hears the news. Her son has murdered her brother, and she is torn apart by grief and a desire for vengeance. She faces this impossible choice, her son or her brothers. In her grief and rage, she makes a decision. She goes to the chest. She takes out that dry, half-burned log.
And she throws it back into the fire.
She does. And as the wood catches, as it burns, as it turns to ash,
Meleager, who is miles away, just collapses.
he feels a burning fire inside. He dies in agony. Fate was delayed for decades, but it was not denied.
It seems like the only way to beat them is to find some kind of loophole. Like the story of Admetus.
Even that wasn't really beating them. It was more like a trait, a substitution. The sun god Apollo actually got the Fates drunk, which is just a hilarious image to me, to get them to agree to a deal.
What was the deal?
They said his friend, King Admetus, could avoid his appointed death day if he could find someone to die in his place.
Which sounds like a pretty good deal until you actually have to go around asking your friends and family, hey, would you mind dying for me today?
Exactly. He goes to his elderly parent. They say no. She goes to his friends. They all say no. The only person who volunteers is his wife, Alcestis.
So she dies so he can live.
She does. Now, in that story, Heracles eventually shows up and literally wrestles death to get her back. But the principle stand. The Fates demand a life. They don't much care whose it is, as long as the cosmic ledger balances.
So we have the gods who rule the world. We have the Fates who rule the duration of life itself. Where do we fit into humans?
Well, according to the myths, we were a bit of a mistake, or at least an afterthought, a project that went wrong.
This involves the Titan Prometheus and his brother, right?
Prometheus and Epimetheus, their names are the key to the whole story. Prometheus means forethought. He's the one who thinks ahead. Epimetheus means afterthought. He's the one who realizes his mistake only after he's already made it.
And they were given the task of creating all the creatures of the earth.
Yes, and Epimetheus, the impulsive one, takes the lead. He's excited. He starts molding animals from clay, and as he creates them, he starts handing out all the gifts from the god's arsenal.
What kind of gifts?
He gives the lion its strength and claws. He gives the eagle its wings and keen sight. He gives the tortoise its protective shell, speed, fur, camouflage, night vision. He hands out all the survival traits.
And then he gets to his last creation, humans.
And he realizes the bag is empty. He's used up all the good stuff. He looks at this little mud creature he's made, humanity, and we are naked, soft-skinned, slow, and clawless. We are biologically defenseless.
We're basically sitting ducks in a world full of super predators he just created.
Precisely. Prometheus, the one with forethought, sees this, and he is horrified. He pities us. He realizes that if we don't get some kind of help, we will be wiped out within a generation. We need an edge. We need something that isn't biological.
You need technology.
We need technology, and the ultimate technology is fire.
But fire isn't just hot stuff in this world.
No, fire is the exclusive property of the god. It burns in the forge of the smith god Hephaestus on Olympus. It is the spark of divinity. And Zeus has explicitly forbidden humans from having it.
Why?
Because he knows what it means. If they have fire, they can forge metal into tools and weapons. They can cook food, which leads to better nutrition and bigger brains. They can conquer the night and the cold. They will stop being helpless animals and start becoming like gods.
And he wants to keep them weak and subservient.
Exactly. But Prometheus disagrees. He decides to defy Zeus. He plans a heist.
The original heist movie?
It really is. He climbs Mount Olympus in secret. He sneaks into Hephaestus' divine forge. He takes a long, hollow stalk of fennel, which has a dry, pithy center that burns very slowly like a wick. And he steals a single glowing ember.
Hides it in the stalk.
Hides it in the stalk and carries it down from the mountain to the shivering, helpless humans.
And the effect?
It is the Neolithic Revolution in a single night. Humans start cooking meat, which allows our brains to grow. We start forging bronze spears to fight off the lions Epimetheus made. We build brick houses. We create pottery. Civilization explodes.
And Zeus looks down from Olympus and sees the smoke rising from human cities where there was only dark.
And he is incandescent with rage. He has been defied. His authority has been challenged, and he decides to punish Prometheus with a torture designed to last for all eternity.
He has him chained to a mountain.
In the Caucasus Mountain, at the very edge of the world, he orders Hephaestus, the god of the forge, to craft unbreakable chains of adamant, and then he sends...
This is the biological horror part again.
It is. Every single day, a giant eagle flies down and tears open Prometheus's abdomen with its talons.
And it eats his liver. Why the liver, specifically?
Because the Greeks believed the liver, not the heart, was the seat of the soul and of human emotion. So the eagle is literally eating his spirit.
And because Prometheus is immortal.
It grows back completely overnight. The wound heals, the organ regenerates, just so the eagle can come back the next morning and eat it all over again. It is a perfect self-sustaining cycle of egg.
But Zeus isn't done. He's not just satisfied with punishing Prometheus. He wants to punish humanity, too. After all, we accepted the stolen good.
And this is where we get the story of Pandora. And we have to be very careful here because the story has been retold and softened so many times that it's lost its original terrifying edge. Pandora wasn't just a curious girl.
She was a weapon.
She was a biological weapon manufactured on Olympus. Zeus orders Hephaestus to sculpt the first woman out of clay and water. He makes her beautiful, irresistibly so.
And then all the other gods give her gifts.
That's right. Her name, Pandora, means all gifted. Athena teaches her to weep. Aphrodite gives her grace and beauty. But then Hermes gives her a bitchy mind and a cheating heart, according to the poet Hesiod. He gives her the power of deception and a curious nature.
She's a trap wrapped in a beautiful pack.
Perfect honeypot. Zeus then sends her as a gift to Epimetheus, the brother who doesn't think ahead.
And Prometheus had warned him.
Explicitly. He had told his brother, never accept a gift from Zeus. But Epimetheus sees Pandora, is completely captivated by her beauty, and marries her on the spot. He ignores the warning.
And she brings some luggage with her. A jar.
Yes, a jar. And this is important, not a box.
Right. Pandora's box is what everyone says.
It's a famous mistranslation. In the original Greek, it's a pithos, a large ceramic storage jar, the kind you would use for wine or grain or olive oil. The box was a mistake made by the scholar Erasmus in the 16th century, and it just stuck.
So she has this jar, and she's been told never ever to open it. But she was specifically designed with the gift of curiosity.
It's a complete setup. The temptation is unbearable. She can't help herself. Eventually, she goes to the jar and she pries the heavy lid off just to peek inside.
And the contents aren't wine or grain.
No. Out of the jar pours invisible misery, sickness, old age, toil, spite, envy, war, famine. All the things that make human life hard and painful fly out of the jar and scatter across the earth to afflict us forever.
She panics and tries to close it.
She slams the lid down, but it's too late. The jar's empty. Except for one thing, fluttering and caught right under the rim. Hope. Now, here is the philosophical debate that scholars have been having for 2,500. Is hope the one good thing that was in the jar, a gift left behind to help us survive all the misery? Or is hope the final, most subtle evil?
Wait, how could hope possibly be evil?
Think about it. If you are trapped in a world of suffering, and you know for a fact that you're going to toil and get sick and die, maybe the most rational thing to do is just accept it. But hope tells you maybe it will be okay.
It keeps you going.
It keeps you going. It keeps you working and struggling and suffering in the often false belief that things will eventually change for the better. The philosopher Nietzsche called hope the worst of all evils because it prolongs the torments of man.
Wow, that is an incredibly dark myth. So Zeus might have left hope in there just to ensure that we keep torturing ourselves.
It's a very real possibility. Or it's a mercy. The Greeks, brilliant as they were, left it ambiguous.
Okay, shifting gears from the creation of misery to the heroes who have to fight. Let's talk about Perseus. This story has monsters, magic items, a terrible problem.
Perseus is really the archetype for the quest hero. He sets the mold. But his origin story is, yet again, based on a terrified father figure, or in this case, a grandfather, King Chryses of Ardos. He hears a prophecy from the oracle at Delphi that his own grandson will one day kill him.
So what's the solution?
He locks his only daughter, Danae, in a bronze room built underground. No doors, just a small vent in the roof. He tries to physically block the possibility of her ever having a child.
But this is Greek mythology, and Zeus is in this.
And you can't keep Zeus out. He looks down, sees the beautiful Danae locked in her cell, and wants her. So he transforms himself into a shower of golden rain.
Which, I have a lot of questions about that, but okay.
It's pure metaphor. This golden rain pours through the roof fence and impregnates her. Perseus is born in secret. Dark.
But Chryses finds out, panics.
He panics. He can't bring himself to kill them outright, so he puts Danae and the baby in a large wooden chest, nails it shut, throws them into the sea.
They survive, obviously. They wash up on the island of Seriphos, but Perseus grows up only to face another toxic male authority figure, King Polydectes.
Polydectes is the king of the island, and he wants to marry Danae against her will. The now teenage Perseus is very protective of his mother, so Polydectes decides he needs to get the boy out of the way.
He tricks him.
A very clever trap. He announces he's getting married to another woman and holds a banquet, demanding that all his subjects bring him horses as wedding.
But Perseus and his mother are poor. They don't have a horse.
Exactly. So Perseus, ashamed and proud, rashly stands up and says, I can't give you a horse, but I'd give you the head of Medusa if you asked for it.
And the king says, great. Deal.
I'll hold you to that. It's a suicide mission. Medusa is one of the three Gorgons. If you look at her face, you turn instantly to stone.
We have to pause on Medusa for a second. because in modern retellings, she's often just portrayed as this evil monster. But her backstory in some versions is incredibly tragic.
It is absolutely heartbreaking. The Roman poet Ovid tells us that she was once a beautiful mortal woman, a devout priestess of the goddess Athena.
And what happened to her?
The sea god, Poseidon, saw her and was overcome with lust. He assaulted her inside Athena's own temple.
And Athena's response, it wasn't to punish Poseidon, the powerful male god.
No, she punished the victim. She considered her temple defiled by Medusa, so she cursed her. She turned her beautiful hair into a nest of venomous snakes and made her face so terrifying that it turned any living man who looked upon it to stone.
It's a horrific injustice. She was made a monster because she was a victim.
It is. And now Perseus, this young hero, is coming to kill her, but he has divine help.
Who helps him?
Athena and Hermes both take an interest. They outfit him like a mythological special ops soldier. Athena gives him a highly polished bronze shield to use as a mirror. Hermes gives him a pair of winged sandals for flight and an adamant sickle, the same type of unbreakable weapon Cronus used against Uranus.
So he's got the gear, but he still needs intel.
Right. He doesn't know where the Gorgons live, so he's sent to find the Grey.
The Grey sisters.
These are three ancient hags who live in a cave and share one eye and one tooth between the three of them.
That is so gross. They literally pass the eye back and forth.
Here, sister, you take the eye for a while so you can see who's coming. And Perseus waits for the moment they're passing the eye from one hand to another, and he snatches it out of the air.
He holds their vision hostage.
He does. He says, I won't give it back until you tell me how to find Medusa. They give him the directions and also tell him where to get a magical bag, the cabesus to hold the head, and Hades' cap of invisibility.
So he gets the intel, flies to the Gorgon's lair using the winged sandal, and he finds them sleeping.
This is the moment of truth. The lair is surrounded by the stone statues of heroes who failed. He knows he can't look at her directly. He has to walk backward, watching her reflection in his polished shield.
He lines up the shot.
And he swings the adamant sickle.
Oh, clean cut.
The head comes off. But then, something absolutely bizarre happens. From the severed neck of Medusa, two fully formed beings spring out. Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, a giant warrior holding a golden sword.
Wait, they were just inside her? How?
They were Poseidon's children. She'd been pregnant with them ever since the assault in the temple, but was unable to give birth because of Athena's curse. Her death was their birth.
That is just so tragic and strange.
It is. Perseus shoves the still dangerous head into the magical bag, puts on the cap of invisibility to escape Medusa's two immortal sisters, and flies off.
And as he's flying back, the myth explains some natural phenomena.
Yes. As he flies over the deserts of Libya, a few drops of blood leak from the bag and fall to the earth. And everywhere a drop hits the sand, a venomous snake is born. This is the Greeks' explanation for why North Africa is full of vipers.
He eventually makes it back home to Seriphos. He walks into Polydectes' court, where the king is harassing his mother.
Polydectes mocks him. So where is this famous head? And Perseus shouts, here is your gift. He pulls the head out of the bag.
And the whole court looks up.
Polydectes and all his cronies look up and turn to stone.
Justice is served. But what about the grandfather? The original prophecy that he would be killed by his grandfather.
Years pass. Perseus is now a famous king. He's competing in some athletic games in a neighboring kingdom. He throws a discus. A street gust of wind catches it. It flies off course into the crowd and strikes an old man in the head, killing him instantly.
Don't tell me.
Of course. It was a Chryseis. He had fled his own kingdom years earlier to try and avoid Perseus, but he just so happened to be in the crowd at those specific games on that specific day. You cannot run from the thread the fates have spun for you.
That brings us to our final story for today. And I think this one is maybe the most emotionally resonant because it deals with a very human, very real fear, the loss of a child.
The story of Demeter and Persephone.
And this is the myth that explains the seasons. But at its heart, as you said, it is a story about a mother.
Overwhelming, world-altering grief.
It starts with Hades, the king of the underworld. He's lonely down there in the dark.
He's the only one of the main gods who is unmarried.
Yeah.
He wants a queen. And he sets his sights on his niece, Persephone, who is the daughter of Zeus, and Demeter, the goddess of the harvest.
So he goes to Zeus.
He asks his brother Zeus for permission to marry her. And Zeus, in a classic Zeus move, says, sure, go ahead, but doesn't bother to tell either Demeter or Persephone about this arrangement.
So it's not a marriage, it's a kidnapping.
It is an abduction, plain and simple. Zeus and Hades conspire. Gaia, the earth herself, creates a lure. A single, mesmerizingly beautiful narcissus flower.
A trap.
A trap. Persephone's out in a meadow with her nymph companion, and she sees this flower. She wanders away from her friends to pick it, and as her fingers touch the petals and she pulls it up, the earth tears open beneath her feet.
And Hades charges out.
In a golden chariot drawn by black, immortal horses. He grabs her. She screams for her father, Zeus, to help her, but he ignores her. Hades drags her down into the darkness of the underworld, and the earth closes up as if nothing ever happened.
But Demeter hears the echo of that scream. She's the goddess of the harvest, the Earth Mother, but now she becomes a detective.
A frantic one. She wanders the earth for 9 days and 9 nights carrying torches, not eating, not sleeping, not bathing, just searching. Finally, Hecate, a goddess of magic, and Helios, the all-seeing sun, tell her the truth.
What do they say?
Helios tells her, it was a conspiracy. Your brother Zeus gave her to your other brother Hades.
And Demeter doesn't just get sad, she gets angry. Royally, cosmically angry.
She goes on strike. She is the engine of all life on Earth. And she says, if I don't get my daughter back, the engine stops. Nothing grows.
She forbids the trees to bear fruit. The wheat shrivels in the ground. The grass turns brown.
It's the first winter. It's a global famine. Humanity begins to starve. And here's the crucial part. If humans die out, the gods stop getting prayers and sacrifice.
Demeter hits Zeus where it hurts, his ego and his altar.
It's brilliant leverage. Zeus realizes he has to fold. The entire system is collapsing.
So he sends Hermes down to the underworld.
He sends Hermes, the messenger god, to demand that Hades return Persephone immediately. Hades knows he can't defy a direct order from Zeus. He agrees to let her go, but he's cunning. He offers her a little snack before she...
Pomegranate.
Just a few pomegranate seeds. It seems like a small, kind gesture, but there is an ancient, unbreakable rule of the cosmos. If you eat the food of the dead, you belong to the realm of the dead.
Did Persephone know that?
That part is ambiguous. Some versions of the myth say Hades tricked her or forced her. Others say she was just starving after her time there and ate them willingly. Either way, she consumes a handful of seeds.
So she comes back up to the surface, and there's this beautiful emotional reunion with her mother, Demeter. But then the trap springs.
The truth comes out. She ate the food. Because of those seeds, she cannot stay in the world of the living permanently.
So a compromise has to be struck.
The ultimate cosmic custody agreement. The ruling is that for every seed she ate, she must spend 1 month of the year in the underworld as Hades. The numbers vary, but it's usually for about a third of the year.
And this creates the cycle of the season.
Exactly. When the time comes for Persephone to go down to Hades, Demeter grieves. She mourns her daughter's absence. She withdraws her life force from the world. The crops die, the air chills, the leaves fall. That is autumn and winter.
But when Persephone returns from the underworld,
Demeter is overjoyed. Her happiness floods the world with life again. Flowers bloom, crops grow. The world turns green. That is spring and summer.
it's such a beautiful way to explain why the world dies and is reborn every year. It's not just meteorology, it's maternal emotion driving the...
And this story became the basis for the Eleusinian mystery, probably the most important secret religious rites in ancient Greece. For 2,000 years, people went to the town of Eleusis to be initiated and to reenact this story.
What was the point of the rite?
It gave them hope. Hope that, just like Persephone, death wasn't the final. There could be a return, a rebirth, a better after.
We've covered a lot of ground here. Creation, castration, cosmic wars, the theft of technology, monsters, prophecies. And when you step back and you look at this entire tapestry of myth, what's the big takeaway?
I think it's that these stories, as wild and fantastical as they are just so incredibly human. They aren't about distant, perfect beings that have it all figured out. The Greek gods are jealous and petty and loving, grieving and scared.
They're just us, but with superpowers and on a much bigger stage.
Exact. The Greeks looked at the utter chaos of the world, the storms, the wars, the injustices, the randomness of life and death. And they didn't say it's random. They said it's personal. They projected their own psychology onto the cosmos to make it understandable, to give it a narrative.
And the source material ended with this question that I've been chewing on at Reddit.
Yeah, it's a powerful one.
They asked, in 2,000 years, will future historians or civilizations look back at our explanations for the unknown, our theories about dark matter, our string theory, our complex models of human psychology, and will they view them as mythology?
Are we just spinning our own more sophisticated threads to try and explain the things we're still afraid of in the dark?
It's a humbling thought. We like to think we have solved the universe, but we are probably just telling the best story we can, information we have.
I think it's exactly right.
On that rather existential note, we are going to wrap up this deep dive. Don't open any suspicious jars you might be given, and maybe watch out for golden rain.
And always keep an eye on the fate.
Thank